Hello, today I'd like to go over some frequent errors that I see in 6th grade stories and what you can do to check for them or avoid them. The things that I'm going to go over is capitalizing your I's, putting one space after punctuation, not before, using the space bar to put a space between words and a tab to put a space before the beginning of a paragraph, and the rule about me and my family. Okay, so let's begin. I's should be capitalized. You should never see an I like this all by itself that is not capitalized. You need to backspace that, use the shift and press I. Hold down the shift and press I to capitalize that, and then let go of the buttons. So here's another one. So go through and find all of the I's that are by themselves and capitalize them. Now obviously right here for miles, you don't need to capitalize the I because it's in the middle of a word. But all of the I's by itself or the I's at the beginning of a sentence need to be capitalized. So look for those in your paper. Okay, the next thing is one space after punctuation. For some reason, I keep seeing a space before the punctuation, like down here. That is incorrect. You should not have a space before the punctuation. You should have one space after the punctuation. Okay? So go through your story, check those, and fix those. Story or essay, whichever it may be. Let's see, I don't think there's any others for that. So one space after the punctuation. The exception is this opening quotation mark. You do not need a space after the opening quotation mark. But after a comma, after a period, you do. Quotation marks being the only exception. You need to do that. Alright, next is indenting a paragraph. So I have this dialogue sentence. Forgot a period completely there. So I need to indent. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's still not the correct indentation, oops, what you can do, well, that automatically does it for me. Once you start with the indentation, that automatically does. So instead of counting out 5 spaces, you can just press the tab button. It's on the left-hand corner, the second button down below the 1. Okay, so you've got the 1, it's directly below there. It's called tab. You press that and it moves it automatically over so that all the paragraphs that start have a nice even line there. Okay? Alright, next we're going to talk about me and my family. I see this all the time. I hear people say it all the time. They say, me and my family love stories. That is incorrect. It is wrong. Okay? Don't do it. It should be my family and I. You always want to put others first before yourself. You will always go last. Okay? Now the other thing about that sentence that was wrong is that it should be I, because I is the subject of the sentence. Our verb is love. You could take this part off and just say I love stories. You wouldn't say me love stories. That sounds like caveman talk. So we need to have I there. And you're like, okay, so when do I use me? You use me as it is in this sentence when it's near the end of the sentence, when me is the object of the sentence, not the person doing the action. Me is not the one doing the action. It's one that the action is being done to. So, Mom told a terrible story about me. Who's doing the action? Mom is doing the action. What is she doing? She told a terrible story. Okay? So you have your subject and your predicate. Me is also a noun, but in this sentence and in every sentence should be the object of the sentence. So it could be at the end. It may not always be the last word, but quite frequently it's going to be very near the end of the sentence. All right. So here are the things that we have gone over. Capitalize the I when it's not in a word. 1 space after most punctuation marks. The exception would be quotation marks. Number 3, use the space bar for 1 space only, and use the tab button for indenting your paragraphs. And number 4, put yourself last in a list, and me is usually near the end of a sentence because it is an object pronoun, not a subject pronoun. That's all for today.